Hello, Princewill. How are you doing?
Hi, Pock. How are you?
I'm good.
I'm great, man. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm good. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Really great to be back on your podcast again to have like amazing conversation. So yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah, before this session, I went back to listen to the one we had earlier. I think episode 51 or something like that. It was so insightful.
Okay.
I think at that particular episode, you just stayed on talking to men in their 20s. And a lot of things to unpack from that
Yeah.
episode. A lot of things.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So where do we start from? It's a lot. I think I'll kick it off from AI. Everybody's talking about AI. I think I'll take it from AI. A lot of people believe that AI is not going to take their job. A lot of people believe that AI will take their job. As a marketing person, I believe with AI, more will be demanded from you. For example, as a graphic designer, more will be demanded from you. I was telling my graphic designer the other day, look, just go into Canva and design template for our agency. Let social media managers just be able to edit and go. So focus yourself on designing template and all. So I don't know. You said a lot of things about it is brands that could leverage AI. It is brands that see the vision that will escape this AI doom. It is professionals. I don't know what you want to say about AI generally in the marketing space.
So there's a lot to say
Mm-hmm.
about AI. I think that also recently I made a tweet around that I believe that brand marketing will be a great differentiator in an AI content heavy world. Brand marketers who think they can operate without AI will struggle, and not just for brand marketing. Obviously, in that particular context, I was talking about a specific scenario and event, but I think that generally across everything that we'll do, there's going to be very much need for AI for you to be able to scale what you do, for you to be able to do what you do. I'm in a group of digital marketers that are building their career on across different places in the UK, Canada, and I think Ireland as well. One of the conversations we're having recently is that we see that we're living in a world again where it's a generalist world, and what that means is that you can't just be a writer. That won't do it anymore. You have to be a writer that knows different areas of writing, different types of
Mm-hmm.
writing, and then how can you leverage AI to be able to scale your content? You can't be wasting 6 months again to produce a research, right? You can use AI to scale that down and be able to produce content. Obviously, there's a lot of people that are very AI agnostic and
Mm-hmm.
AI generated content agnostic. But human beings react to change differently. But what generally happens is human psychology and human behavior changes, and then you begin to find out that people are a bit more accepting of certain things. So far, it solves their problem. I
Yeah.
mean, people are using AI now to create their entire knowledge base so that
Mm-hmm.
content marketers don't waste time. Their documentation for the product, there's Q and A's and all of that,
Mm-hmm.
and they plug it in, and in a couple of hours the entire knowledge base is created for a
Yeah.
product with the brand voice and all of that. So I think that AI is critical in every area of marketing. For the particular scenario I was talking about, I was stressing that content creation is really great, but in a very AI content heavy
Mm-hmm.
world, one of the things that brands can then do is to leverage their creativity, the insights that they have about their industry, about their product. If you look at what Coinbase is doing with the adverts that they've been churning out around their point of view on crypto versus traditional money recently, you would see that is standing them out as a crypto brand versus other things. I also know that recently recently, I think it was this gig platform, Fiverr. They launched a campaign sometime last year, and they were sort of saying that nobody really cares whether you use AI to do the job or you don't use AI. What they care is that you get the job done, and obviously you produce quality and original work. And what that means will differ for different people. So I think that AI is here to help. AI is, yes, AI would affect certain areas of
Mm-hmm.
the job, but you're the professional. You know what your value is. You know the value that you bring. So the question for you is, how can I leverage this
Yeah.
tool? How can I
True.
leverage this
True.
technology, use it in a still
Yeah.
very creative way, and to deliver value both to your organization and to the customers that you
Yeah,
serve.
for real. I'm heavy on the fact that it's going to become a generalist word again, and not about niching to just, oh, I am an arts person, because I kind of see the way Facebook are handling AI now. The intention of Facebook as Meta as
Yeah,
a company is that in the nearest future you should be able to just input, oh, I want to sell shoes to my customer and I want to run ads. My customers are in the UK, they are female, they are ladies, and
yeah.
that is it. And this the Meta AI would be able to create your creative for you, just by you supplying the images, they create the videos, and then that's it. I was like, oh, this is gonna be amazing because everybody will be able to just run ads. But you, as a Meta art specialist, you should be thinking ahead right now that look, it's gonna go way more than I can't remain like this.
Absolutely. Even even for the company I presently work, we serve the automotive market. And what we do
Oh,
is similar, right? So you produce images for cars, and it turns them into video ads that can be used across website
oh,
marketplaces for paid ads across different platforms, whether it is Facebook, Google, and all of that. So that is
already.
happening already
Oh,
across different segments. It's now, whether you're a paid specialist, whether you're a designer, whether you are a marketing person, to say, hey, how can I leverage this tool to be able to scale content for my organization, to be able to scale impact, in the market for the business. And I think that's really
do
what
you
it's
believe
about.
this will reduce jobs by 30%, according to dealer projection? It will go. It said it's going to reduce entry level jobs by 30%.
I know you are enjoying this episode. So click on the subscribe button. Click on it. Also, please share this episode with somebody, just one person that will find this helpful. Cheers.
So I think that I don't know what the percentage is, and I think that as we go on, we will begin to
Mm,
find what that is. I know the Deloitte
yeah.
report that you're talking about that says that by 2030 AI will reduce
Mm,
entry level jobs. I think that it's important for professionals to stay ahead. Whether you're learning, whether you're currently using it in your workflows, whether you are at the early stage of your career or you are at the later stage of your career, I think that use AI to enhance the work you do. Use AI to increase your reach. Use AI for you to be able to deliver work faster. Use AI for you to be able to do so much more in the shorter time that you
mm,
used to do less. And I think that that's what will stand you out as professionals. Obviously, a couple of years ago, while I was working at Jobberman, one of the things that became a theme for very early stage careers is that working in customer service is becoming
mm,
back then, this is a bit over
true.
6 7 years ago, was becoming heavily automated, was becoming heavily moved to call centers where so many people are serving one brand, doing different things. So there's no sort of a career growth path in that industry. That is happening again. We see that, for example, Canva has given everybody in marketing the tools for them to be able to create design. And like you said earlier on, which is something I like, which is that you're the designer in the company, you're the brand guide, you understand design and all of that. You can go into these different tools and create templates, right? template for sales enablement to ensure that when sales is communicating to clients that they are prospecting, they're using the brand, they're saying the right things in the right way, they're putting the
Mm.
designs in the right way, because this little these things,
Yeah.
these very little things, can make or mar a deal, especially when you work in the B2B space where someone
Yeah.
looks at your brand doesn't feel premium, it doesn't feel believable. So I think that regardless of where you find yourself, what that job is, adapting your career and the career strategies that you're growing your career. Obviously, the impact of AI across different markets will
Yeah.
differ.
Good.
Some of it is going to be a
Mm.
lot heavier. Some of them, the impact will reach them a bit later on. I don't think that with the integrity and the research that Deloitte, the likes of
Yeah.
Deloitte, they churn out, on different things that are happening in the world. I think that it will be somewhere around
Mm.
those stats, whether be even way even beyond
Yeah.
entry level jobs. I think one of the things that we're going to be seeing both in marketing and non-marketing roles is the redesigning of
Mm.
JDs to begin to understand how is AI impacting this role. What else can we
Good.
create newly for this person to be able to handhold AI to be able to deliver value and impact is what I really see
Good.
happening.
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome, Prince Will. You've been in marketing for
Thank
13
you.
years. Am I right?
10 from a 9 to 5 perspective, 10 years this year,
Wow.
March this
That's
year. Yeah.
that's that's awesome. Would you say, yeah,
Thank you.
as a marketing person, what do you think the stack should look like when it comes to applying AI to your role? For example, I focus on e-commerce. I focus on e-commerce. I'm a digital marketing
Mhm.
person. How do you think I should be using AI in my everyday life? Do you think, as a product marketer, do you think I should start thinking of being more of a design? Should I be learning more design? Should I be learning more writing? Instead of just being, oh, I'm a strategist person. I'm just a strategist. I don't do any execution. I just strategize. Do you think I should start picking up AI to learn these new other skills?
Uh, Yeah, I even think that regardless of your role, obviously context will differ. For example, if you're an e-commerce person, you should be using AI to analyze your ads. You should be using AI to analyze your copy. You should be using AI to analyze the results of your campaign. You should be using AI to analyze your landing pages even before they go live, as they are live. You should be using AI to see what AI tools are there for me to be able to present different landing pages, because maybe the copy for buy now will differ across different
Mm.
age segments. Maybe the description of what you're selling and the impact of that to the different countries. So, say for example, you have a particular product that meets certain things or that needs certain requirements in certain region. How can you leverage AI to be able to know that if someone is visiting you from this location, this is a landing page for you to present to that person, and it's smart and it delivers and ensures that you reduce your bounce rates, you have better buy-in. How can you leverage AI to do dynamic pricing? If a product is worth more to somebody and you're showcasing a different value to them, how can you use AI to understand who that visitor or that client is and be able to deliver value? And there's so much more that you can use to do with AI. If you're a product person, that will differ. Even if you're just a strategist as
Mm.
a product person, how are you using AI to do your research, to understand your customer segments, how their psychology is changing, to analyze the results
Mm.
around your product? Whether you learn a bit more different skills so that you can be able to deliver your value depends on what industry is and what the demand on the individual and that role is in that industry. But I think that the advice is to pay attention to what is really happening in my industry. Where is so there's this concept about following the money, and the concept about following the money is that where is the investment in the industry going, either from the business, either from political or economical value. Where is the investment going, and how does this impact my role? Is something that you should be looking at. But I think that across every role, people should be asking themselves, how can AI help me do this better? How can I, deliver better value with this? It's a
Brilliant.
non-issue to be honest.
Yes, it goes back to how can I deliver more value to my clients with AI? Just deliver more value. You you
Absolutely.
you you're in B2B, and I saw a tweet of yours one day that said B2B conversions is about 3 to 9 months. I was like, wow, 3 to 9 months? How does that work? How do you how do you what will you as a digital me, I'm so addicted to short term. You run the app in e-commerce, you see the sales the next day. 3 to 9 months, what will you be doing as a marketer?
It's one of the really interesting dynamics of B2B marketing. It's also something I have loved about working in
Mm.
B2B. It can also be challenging, but I think it's something that everyone needs to understand. There was something that happened some time ago. So we're running an outbound campaign to a target account for an ABM campaign that we're running. And so one of the persons that the campaign landed to in the organization was sort of a sales leader within the organization. And the sales leader says, "Oh, we don't need this. It's not where we are. If you look at us, you should know that this product, it's not something that we need. If we're done our research and everything." And had conversations, and someone say, "Oh, take them out of the funnel. They don't belong there." Not that I was like, "Nah, educate this person, keep educating them, keep showing them that, there's value here for you to use this product and all of that." And it was that person that sent the one of the campaigns that again we run targeting the organization. It was that same person that sent the campaign to the head of marketing to say, "Hey, why shouldn't we reach out to these guys and have a conversation to them? They seem to be able to do this." And this took somewhere about 3 months to be able to achieve. And one day, boom, the head of marketing books a meeting with the organization. Another example I've had about this is that we launched a campaign, and then it was sort of a workplace campaign, did everything, did the presentations and all of that, and everything went cold. And about 10 months later, the head of department says, "Hey, can you please come? We want to have a presentation." Had a presentation, and then the salespeople went to meet them. And after that meeting that evening, they requested for the details, the breakdown of the payment details and all of that. And then they sent contract review, and it was signed. I've had another experience where in this particular experience, so you kept meeting someone at an event, they kept coming to your booth to have conversations, you kept meeting them, trying to say, "Oh, we should work together, we should do this together." They kept downloading your PDFs, different PDF, reading your PDF, and they didn't do anything. Now, one day they book a meeting, you have the first level meeting, the CEO was there and everything, and then they go cold. And then all of a sudden you launch a campaign. That this was like 6 months later, you launch a campaign announcing a partnership with somebody, and then they come and demand the meeting, and then the meeting has to do a different presentation on a new case of your products that they need now and all that. So B2B can be very tough. Obviously, every aspect of marketing, but one of the things about B2B it teaches you is that yeah, quick wins are great, but those quick wins can be
Mm,
different in a different way. There's so much that you can learn from that. You need patience. You need to continue to ask questions. You need to continue to understand your customer. Pushing out work campaign and getting a ready to buy client, and then they pay that the signed document is great, but that's not usually the case, because again, there's a buying committee. The business needs to really ascertain, is this value, would this transform our organization? The business needs to check, would our people use this product, would it help them, again, deliver value for the business, maybe to their own clients and all of that, especially when you want work in a company that serves, so you're serving a business and they're serving consumers as well. So it's B2B is a very tough space, whether it's even for not just marketing but also
mm,
B2B sales. And but that's also what makes it interesting, because again, when that deal then gets signed, after all those
mhm.
rigmarolling, after all those experiences, it teaches you something else. You learn something about that process, and then take those learnings into the next one that you're
Well,
continuing to push to get
I kind of
results.
agree with that. I help guys that work in B2B, and they say I'll be following up with a client for 4 months. And I was like, can I do this? You know, me and I'm used to sales, I'm used to putting up the ads, putting the product up, bam, bam, bam. The campaign is running, ads is coming in every day. And when it comes in every day, no, that's not it. I don't think that's the side of marketing I
Yeah.
want to go into. But I really expect it to be.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has something
Uh,
that works for them. So if you figure out your own, there's no need to worry about the other one.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I look like, okay, as a content marketer, I try to look at what will I be doing for that 9 months? Like, what will I be put? Because I can't imagine what will I be talking about? You can't chase. I don't think you can chase virality in that space. Like, our content should go viral. The content marketing dynamics will just be different. It's it's not about,
Yes,
uh,
absolutely, absolutely. You're constantly engaging your audience. You're constantly finding out what questions that they have. With every meeting that you join with sales, you're constantly paying attention to understand, how do you communicate the value proposition better. You're constantly looking for PR opportunities. You're constantly looking for partnership opportunities, to partner with someone that is maybe in your industry, to be able to spotlight your brand into the eye line of this other target clients that you're looking for. So it's that constant
uh-huh.
grinding, trying to
It's a
it's a
different
different
world.
it's a different
It's
type of marketing, to be honest.
honestly,
Yeah, the same tactics, the same rules, and all of that. They can be similar, sometimes they can be the same, but how they apply
it's different.
sometimes
It's different.
slightly, well, not slightly,
It's different.
hugely different. Yes, yes,
It's
yes.
different. It's different. Akuma. There's a big difference between both.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. Is that why you said? Is that why
Yeah.
you said if you build a B2B tool, a business tool in Africa, and you want people to pay to learn it, that you're a serious person? Is it your B2B experience that showed you this? You've worked with people across and
So if you build a B2B brand, and you're asking marketers or
mm,
salespeople to pay the brand to learn how
mm,
to use your tool, yeah, I think yes. So again, obviously, I've worked with a couple of B2B brands that has been across different multiple markets in Africa. So one of the things is that, in so obviously, again, product adoption can be slow because of the market dynamics of the
mm,
African markets, right? Now, if you are a product that whether marketers or sales actually use, and then you go and create sort of a knowledge base for people to learn how to use your product. One of the fantastic things you can do immediately is to have it as an open
mm,
source program, teach people, let them get in, start using it, and then start seeing that your product is fantastic, it's amazing, and then start sort of building adoption with them in their different companies so that it's easy for them to see that this product is fantastic, it helps us solve a problem, and then they can start trying to, with all your marketing that you're doing, start trying to convince their employer to say, hey, we need this product, we can actually deliver more value with this product. Now when you try to get the people, the professionals that will use that product to deliver value in their companies to say, hey, this training I'm creating for this product, I want you to pay me to use. You then have to pay me for the training. I mean, come on, you're not Adobe. You shouldn't really do that. I mean, if you look at the likes of HubSpot, the reason all of us as marketers really know them and they go to is because of the knowledge base
mm.
that they've
Yeah.
created online, whether it is across social media, whether it's across email marketing, whether it's across paid advertising, whether it's across, marketing strategy. You can really go to HubSpot, learn a thing or two, and that can quickly impact you. And if you look at in this age and time, other tools that are really important to marketers like Clay, they're doing a similar thing. They're doing constantly educating their community, and a whole lot of them. So I feel like for products that are then gating that knowledge, I don't want to mention names. It doesn't really help you
I
as a
know,
brand.
right? I know, right? It doesn't. People need to.
Yeah,
I think one of the things that one of my marketing colleagues said is you should be ready to throw away so that you can get back most of the time. Uh, not just
yeah,
in marketing.
yeah. Well, not
Yeah,
necessarily throw away in the sense of
yeah,
being careless
no.
about it, because I mean there's always
Mhm,
budgetary constraints. It's being Gary V, who is a very great
mhm,
thought leader in marketing, calls it jab, jab, jab,
mm,
hook, right? So what he's saying is give value, and
mm,
then you sell.
mm,
Give value, you sell. And if you even look at the concept of it, even
mm,
from boxing, you will see that boxers don't just, I mean, the best of the best, they don't just come out
mm,
banging. It opens them up to
mhm,
weakness and weak
mm,
spots, right? So it's that is that tactic and strategy of jab,
mhm,
give, and
mm,
you hook. He even has a fantastic book about it, and it breaks down how you can give and give from a content perspective before you then
so,
start to sell, because people already have buying, they believe in
mhm,
your brand, they trust that you can deliver value, they trust that you have knowledge that helps them, and it makes it easy for them to buy into, which also was why recently I was saying that a lot of creators, they start to sell too
really,
early. You haven't built impact for a period of time that helps people build trust, that helps you build visibility. All of a sudden you just maybe made a viral post, and then you want to maximize the moment. Building the product is easy. It's actually then selling it and having
yeah, right.
buying to sell it, that and continue to sell it, that is really hard.
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
absolutely.
Thank you for pointing that out. I really hope people will internalize this and understand it and then and make use of it, not just in marketing, in life. I think in life generally, people give us never lack
Yeah,
in Bible. They
absolutely.
say give us never lack. Yeah, the ideal is that when you okay, I was talking about a first class graduate in my department. So I'm running my masters currently. So when I was having tutorials for them,
Okay,
yeah,
fantastic.
I was doing tutorials and for my guys, and I got to understand something. Before went for that tutorial, I had to read. So I was not doing the tutorial. It makes you understand that, oh, before these first class guys come to teach us that time, they will have read. Then they will read it again. Don't know where they don't read more than us now. So before you could
Yeah,
give, you first to go read.
yeah,
You first to go study. You know something about content marketing. Then you put up
yeah,
your phone. Then you record the content about it. Then you put it out there. Then for you to record another
yeah,
one, you have to go study. That's how you get so good and so good. And if you don't know, I
Yeah,
really hope, I really
absolutely,
hope, I
absolutely
really hope people will
correct.
use that in their life. Yeah, let's go to this. It's kind of fun because you've experienced recruitment both in Nigeria, in the UK, and everywhere. You're a senior professional across board. You're a global talent, and you've seen global HR, global people how they do things, right? And recently, you pointed out how Nigeria Gen Z HRs are trending the path of clout or trying to be career advisors to people. And you think you said it's wrong. I quite do not understand why. I think it's just a Gen Z vibe thing to me. I think it's just where how the Gen Zs do things across board. They try to increase playfulness to everything. I don't know if you want to share more light on this.
So I don't think it's a Gen Z thing. I think that um, people try to sometimes pander to a certain audience and then end up leading that audience
Mm,
astray and end up talking down to that audience. We've all, in quotes, been raised across different
yeah.
generations, but at every point in our generation, we were young,
Mm,
and certain things, being young appeals to you, certain
mm,
frivolities, the way certain things are
yeah.
framed, the way certain things are worded, right? So that is cool. But HR is, it's a very serious
Mm,
career, right? Doesn't mean it shouldn't be playful, doesn't mean it shouldn't build culture in a way that speaks to every age grade. But it becomes a problem where, in your trying to sort of speak to a certain audience, and mind you, you are recruiting across different audience sets, not just the very Gen Z, right? So it's always content around how or how Gen Zs are not top professionals. Okay, so if we look at it, maybe you also have a problem. You have a recruitment problem because it means that you are not putting in processes to be able to attract the right
mm,
candidates and find the right quality talent. Because the truth is that a candidate that knows their stuff will not see you fluffing about as a HR manager or even as an organization and want to work with you. They will review your job description, because I think that as professionals, one thing we don't understand is that um, you are interviewing for a company or you're interested in a role, you should be interviewing the company as much as they are
Review
interviewing
you.
you. So
Mm,
you then so that's yeah, that's even one aspect of it. Then the second aspect of this is this constant sort of revealing of people's stories,
mm,
people's decisions. A lot of things that are ethical and unethical happen, and it's not just HR, it's
mm,
recruitment, it's in, there's certain very professional roles that is terrible for you to do
mm,
as a person. It's like a doctor coming to reveal their patient's information or their patient experiences
mm,
online, even if they don't mention the name of that
yeah.
patient. Think about that patient when they read that thing. How does it make them feel? So I think that with sharing those experiences, I think that people should be looking at teachable moments rather than looking at clickbait outreach.
Mm,
It seems, really framed in certain ways. And then, the particular incident that you're talking about,
yeah.
the HR had a different opinion about the issue
Mm,
because the person you recruited called you out on certain things, and then the candidate had a different issue about it. And then when you wanted to frame your response, you say, "Oh, you don't really like to do respond or do things like that." But every
mm,
of your content, has been conditioned in a way whereby you're rage baiting
mm,
people. You're constantly putting out, oh, Gen Z has done this, Gen Z has not done this, and all of that. What are you really teaching Gen Zs to do
mm,
better? What is your expectation of candidates, regardless of whether they are Gen Z or they're not Gen Z? And having worked at Jobberman back in the day, one of the things I saw that has worked is actually, educating people, write articles, create videos, host webinars. Jobberman did a fantastic job. Nigeria had a very huge skill issue. Jobberman did a fantastic job prior to the pandemic. Organized, I think it was in 2019, organized a skill workshop for young mothers that are trying to get back
Mm.
into work. So when you go on your mat leave, get pregnant, give birth, maybe took some time off and want to come back into work, it's really tough. And that was actually an experience of one of our colleagues at work, which is then why she found Jobberman and came to work at Jobberman. And we thought it was really amazing. And, the marketing team then created a campaign where we brought about 20, I think it was about
Mm.
20 women, had presentations on how to combat job search, write their CV and all of that. And that's metamorphosed into the brand building a whole training where they took it all over Nigeria to the north. And that
Mm.
had a,
Mm.
a huge impact, right? And, with the last time I checked the numbers, I think it was over 3 million candidates
Yeah.
trained. That's
People.
3 million people that wouldn't have understood certain things in the workplace, how it works, because they've
Mhm.
never had that experience, but they now do. So I think that, people need to start considering the impact of
Mhm.
certain things. There are rules governing certain
Yeah.
jobs, certain functions, and people need to
True.
respect those rules to the letter. Because you're not revealing someone's image, you're still dealing with
Mm.
human emotions. You're still dealing with the way it affects them. So I think that, a lot of people need to really do better. And the reason I say this is I have also seen HR managers before this generation. I have seen how they create impact. I've
Yes.
seen how they advise people. The likes of
Mm.
Sam Akinluto, who worked at several companies back in Nigeria. I remember when I was building my career, I used to go and geek out Sam's LinkedIn page and certain things he used to
Mm.
write on a blog he had then. They were really fantastic. They were educational. Obviously, he's moved to a different partner where he's building a global
Mhm.
HR career. Fantastic guy. And you would see that impact. And there's a couple of them. Some of them have moved. There's a lady called Moyo. I think she's moved to Canada several years ago. And you will see that the way they create impact to educate and close that gap is really different, than what is being done now. So I think that's just what I think it can improve. Is left for people to do how they like till you catch a court case, and then you would understand.
So the catch a court case. Then they will come for you.
Absolutely.
Even
Yeah,
people need to even
absolutely.
look away from. I think the job scarcity in Nigeria has made a lot of people think HR is all about recruitment. I don't see HR talk about how they are influencing company culture in Nigeria. I don't see it. I don't see how they properly say, oh, I got into this company. I was able to build this company culture. I was able to do this. It's all about these people send CVs.
So yeah. So I think the challenge is with that goes back to a couple of commentary I made some months back where I was saying that people that actually do the work at companies don't, at a certain level, they don't share what they know. So I would say a lot of them, the ones that are
Mm,
doing these things that you're saying, impacting the
so,
culture. Um, there's a lady called Nkechi, I think is run. I can't remember her surname, so that I don't murder the surname. She's called Nkechi. She's worked with, I think, Guinness Nigeria, and I think she's moved to the international Diageo group of companies.
mm,
Back in the day when we used to run top 100 companies to work for in Nigeria, Guinness was one of the companies that was top of that table, and we went to do presentation to them to understand what they are currently doing, what the data is saying from the research that we've done to help them improve on their HR processes. It was in that conversation that I had that, Guinness has been doing, they feed their staff. Nobody knew about it because they weren't talking about
mm,
it. They even started it before Andela. They had certain perks that even the Andela then, because I think Andela back then was the number one
Mm-hmm.
company, didn't do. But because nobody
Yeah.
knew, there was no communication about it. It wasn't in the job specs that they put out. It wasn't anywhere in those job specs to say, hey, this is what we offer. Another one was Nigerian breweries. When we got to Nigerian breweries and saw what their package
Mm,
was, what the benefits was for their their graduate
mm,
program. It was mind blowing, the sort of trainings they take them into and all of that. But a lot of people didn't know that because a lot more people were running to the financial
mm,
services sector because of the kind of programs, fantastic trainings and programs the likes of Access Bank, GT, and the whole lot of them offer to very entry level candidates to really prepare them for a career in financial services. So I think that a lot more professionals, a lot more people need to start sharing the impact of the work they do, especially the people at those level. And like you said, HR is a lot more than
recruitment.
just
Mm-hmm.
recruitment. It's just a very minute percentage of it. There's training, that aspect of it. There's that ensuring that the work culture is continuously being designed and developed to fit where the company is, but also where the company is going, and every other dynamic around people, around pay, around
Right.
performance improvement plans, people development, ensuring that you always hire the best and not just hire, but also hire the right people that fit into what you currently have right now and where you want to go with those people. Because one of the things that really kills company culture is then hiring people that wouldn't come into your company and fit into that culture that you've designed, that is fantastic and that already exists.
That's true. That's true. I've worked in companies. I work in a company, but in the early days of my career, that I actually believe it was the HR that was holding the fabric of that company together. The moment she left, everybody just because if the if the team
Yeah.
lead, if the founder, if anybody comes into a meeting and was very radical and was like, no, you guys did not make sales, bam, 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 and all of these things. I think immediately after the call, she makes it a point of duty to send a private message to every member of the team that were on that call. Oh, don't mind your growth manager. He's facing it from the management as well. That's why he's saying all of that. So and this one. And then I think it was after I left the company that I began to see the reason why she's doing that. Anytime there's an heated meeting like that,
Yeah, because
uh-huh.
yeah,
Go ahead, go ahead.
absolutely, because she was providing context. She was providing context to why it was
Mm,
happening. Obviously, people have different ways they communicate those kind of things in their organization, but that helps them. Those people would understand that, oh, this manager is not just ranting. There's actually pressure. And sometimes that can be missing.
mhm,
In the middle of communication on how information is passed to the other people,
mhm.
so that they yeah, they shape up and deliver value. Yeah.
That's it. That's it. Let's okay. Let me go from that to LinkedIn. You you don't allow us rest about LinkedIn. I begin to see the reason why you are saying this because it's easy for perspective to get for people to have a perception about something. It's easy for if the good digital marketers in Nigeria are not coming online to talk about their work, to talk about how they are actually generating revenue for people, and we have the flow of oil all over. Before you know, people will start having this perception that oh, if you are a digital marketer from Nigeria, they will give you flow. It's very easy because just like I love the way people are coming out to combat the oh, hey, I went through 5,000 CVs and I couldn't hire a very good professional. I couldn't see any good graphic. I now see the reason why people go after those people because if you let it go, if you let it fly, some people will definitely believe that that is the truth, and they will that will shape the perception of your particular uh of that particular industry. Let's talk about LinkedIn. How do you think top professionals can put their work out there? I think what scares most people is they don't want to be wrong. Now, for my circle, I've seen that many people want to say stuff on LinkedIn, but they think it is the best of the best that say stuff on that phrase. Because if you are wrong, they will catch you and say, "Oh, you are wrong." How do you think they should approach LinkedIn?
So, a couple of ways, and I think that people should stop trying to um, be
Mm,
scared, right? The likes of Steve Jobs, Donald Trump, people have said stuff online and they were wrong. People didn't care.
mm,
People moved on, right? So that's one. That doesn't mean you should go out there and say stuff that is fluff. That's not what we're saying. Now, how do you decide to show up on these platforms and maximize it? For me, maybe it's because of my value system. Everybody has a different value system, right? Going to talk about oh, I made £1 million or I made this.
mm,
Money is
mhm,
good, don't get me wrong, but that's not a value system for me. That's
mm,
not what value is, right? So I think a strategy that is important is for developing and designing your point of view on the things that you're passionate about, that impact your work, that impact the value that you're delivering, and impact the industry and the organization that you work in, right? So if you work in an industry where AI is having an impact, or you work with a company that does stuff around AI, like I do, the question is, how can you continue to showcase what you're doing, what your company is doing, maybe what the challenges are, how you're solving those challenges. Obviously, avoid revealing business secrets, because that doesn't help you or the company in any way. Competition is always
mhm,
prying, and you must be wary of that. That's something I would say. Not just posting for posting's sake. Have a point of view, and a point of view is basically, what is my thought on this topic? What is my experience on this topic? What are the results I have seen on this topic? Those things can be ongoing. Now, how you hold yourself accountable to showing up, it's up to you. I also feel that if you have anywhere between 10 to 20, 25 years career, you should constantly be showing up on different platforms. You are a thought leader
mhm,
in that industry. Your thoughts and your experiences will shape, should and would and should shape conversations in that
mm,
industry. Whether you choose to do
mm,
it via interviews, via
mhm.
posts on your timeline, via jumping on webinars and having
Sorry to
conversations
break
that are
you.
impactful,
How
it's
does
up
this
to you.
interview thing work? You,
Yeah.
you mean as a professional, for example, as an e-commerce person, I'll go look for Nairametric and say they should interview me? How should people that have spent 10 years, how should they go about this
Not
interview stuff?
everybody, it's work different for everybody. If you are a financial, let's say you are a product manager in finance, and there's AI now is affecting product managers. Obviously, there are different platforms that write about fintech products and all of that, right? Obviously, yes, if you're constantly posting and talking and shedding light on you know what is the upside or downsides of AI, what is really happening, those platforms should really be able to. You are a resource in that
Mm,
industry. You are a top person. You're someone that has hands-on experience. You should be a go-to person for people to have a conversation. There are obviously a million or tons of people that work in products, that are in fintech, that would have different insight, different opinion based on where their market is, where their company is. So those opinions are very important to shaping policy. They are important to shaping how conversations in the industry are had. So it's up to you to create those opportunities, to have conversations maybe with those platforms, maybe to provide your thought leadership to say, hey, I want to, there are certain platforms where industry professionals have to maybe write thought
mm.
leadership articles around different topics monthly. There are different ways to go about it. It just depends on what is suitable for someone's career route, or their positioning.
You said never be scared of starting over again. I also think one of the problems
Yeah.
people have with showing up on these platforms is they think starting over, if they start showing up, they have a trail on the internet. And when they want to start over again, people can go back to those and say, "Oh, this is this. You said this before. You said this before. You were doing marketing before. You couldn't do it very well. You ran away to sales. You ran away to products." You have the opinion that people should never be scared to start over again. I don't think I've started over again. But when I studied statistics in school, I'm doing marketing right now. But I did not really think I'm starting over again because I never practiced statistics for a long time. So, what's the idea on starting over again?
So my concept about starting over again is that it speaks to life is not hopeless, right? The situation might be hopeless, but life in itself it's not hopeless. So far you are alive, so far you have breath, so far um, maybe just so far that you are alive, right? Life is not hopeless. Again, the situation might be hopeless, but life in its entirety is not hopeless. Now, if we take it to to a career, right? Obviously this will apply in
Mm-hmm.
different ways for young adults or adults in different stages in their life, but the concept of it for a career, for example, is that if I just finished university today and I may be in my very early 20s or just touching 20s, and the question is what do you want to do and I don't know, be okay with starting over again. Go and try marketing, go and try sales, go and try products, go and try maybe try starting a business. You don't want to do that, go and try doing something else. With everything that you do, ask yourself, what am I learning? What skills am I developing across
Mm-hmm.
these things, right? So you should be okay with starting over again. And sometimes, for a different context, it might be that you're now in a role where you didn't plan for. AI has come and it has evaporated your organization. Microsoft just sacked 7,000 over
People.
6,000 employees. Some platforms say 7,000. The director of AI came on Twitter and tweeted that this impacted her. She doesn't have the answers now, but she knows that something hopeful will happen. That is starting over again. How do you explain everybody I know would work for Microsoft? Maybe some people might not because maybe they it's not a
Yeah.
company they like for a different, but
Mm-hmm.
everybody I know, if given a job, their dream job at Microsoft, would like to take up the opportunity. If Microsoft then lets you go, what happens? You should be okay with starting over again. Life would happen whether we've done the best trainings, we're the best talent. Let me also give you an example. You can do everything to prepare for a career. Your company can do everything, invest, and the market, maybe one policy just shuts everything down. Think about the companies that came into 2025 planning that Q1 to maybe Q1 to Q3, they are going to smash it because they didn't envision that there was going to be a global
Sorry.
tariff problem. And that has impacted their business. It wasn't anything within their power to change. They should be
Sorry.
okay with starting
Mm.
over again. So across different spheres of life, whether it be relationship, whether it be, obviously you can, based on yourself, you can choose what the modalities of you starting
Again,
over
will be-
means to you. But at the end of the day, starting over
Yeah.
again tells us that life is
Mm.
not over. There's so much more to us. Setbacks, they're not really
Yeah. And then,
the end of
uh-huh.
our journey. Um, having a downturn or being defeated also presents an opportunity for you to sort of
Mm.
recalibrate yourself and evolve. I've been in a situation where I have never expected I was going to be let go, and I was
Yeah.
let go
Mm.
from something I felt that I wanted so much and everything. I've been in a situation whereby I invested in something so much and then it doesn't work out. I'm not going to kill myself. I'm not going to, end my life there. Yes, I would sob, I would sulk, I would regret, I would say, oh, maybe I shouldn't have, maybe I shouldn't have. So if you take that perspective to life about, starting over again and, knowing that because you feel that something isn't
Yeah.
It's not
Mm-hmm.
about you. You can do
And
everything, and life just happens. So people should be able to understand, to be willing to start over again. And it also helps you manage regrets, because sometimes something you've been doing isn't working. It's never going to work, and you're just there.
really,
You're just there doing, rather than for you to move forward. And for some people, they even move forward and they're
in
still
that
stuck
part.
in that stuff, trying to find a way to make it
It
work, and
will.
it doesn't
It
help you
will.
and your energy. Yeah.
I resonate with that. I resonate with that. And that would take me to this question. I wanted to ask you on Twitter or something like that about how to, for somebody that knows a lot of things that wants to niche down. Now, the AI world, the technology world we are in now, has forced a lot of people to know a lot of things. You see people who, when they wanted to do tech, no good advice, they first of all learn UI UX. Now, from UI UX, somebody now plug them to a social media management thing. Oh, just be posting for me. So they started posting for that person. From posting for that person, they started doing some customer support aspect as well. Then now they know UI UX, they know customer support, and they know how to design a little and all of those things. Now they are struggling to niche down. They are struggling to pick a particular niche because, and if you don't pick a particular area, you will not know how to harness these things. And I think one of the confusion is people think they have to use all of these things. I studied statistics in school. I'm very close to first class. I'm top five in my class. I'm good at it. I'm good at data analytics and all of these things. But people always ask me that why am I doing marketing? And I tell them that one of the aspects of marketing that I like the most is report and analytics. Now that's why I'm using that part of my life. So one of the conversations that I like in my career, in my life, that is very beneficial is the one I had with you 2 years ago when I wanted to make the decision between product marketing and e-commerce marketing. So that time I have three jobs, right? And I've seen people in that dilemma as well. People trying to see, oh, I'm a very good content writer. Well, I have this customer support job. Should I go ahead and make my career about writing, or should I go with customer support? I don't know. I want to advise for people in this kind of situation.
So the first advice is follow the money.
Mm,
I've said this several times, and with following the money, it is not about the job that pays you the most now. It is about 3, 4, 5 years down the line. Where do you have the most opportunity? Where do you have a lot more better outcome, right? And you can project this in different way. There are different metrics to look at, different ways to research that. The internet is a great resource. Look at that. So follow the money, right? How is your company investing in these things? How is the industry investing? What is the economic policies that is impacting those things? What would the job market look like because of those economic policies? That's one thing. Now, I think the dilemma people have is that they think that everything that they have learned isn't important. So I was a camera boy in my church at some point. I have co-owned a university magazine, a university magazine. I've been part of a university newspaper. I have volunteered for an all men's magazine. I have built a social media strategy for a youth church that involved audio editing. All of this is over 10 years ago. Now, if you think about my marketing career today, you would say all those things I know. How has it impacted me? Well, if I have a campaign and I bring on a
yeah.
videographer, I know what I expect of you, right? if I am making a pitch about certain things, I know that the audio quality. There was a time where I used to volunteer to go and do presentation with for
Mm,
salespeople, who everybody was worked up. Going to those conversations introduced me to certain challenges that sales have. So what I would say is consider life as a learning opportunity. Every opportunity that you have. There's a saying that says, if you're invited into a spaceship, don't say where would I sit. Jump on, figure out that later, right? So every skill that you can learn that makes you better as a person or on the job, learn as much as possible. If you're very, very early on in your career, you can do two things. You can go and discover so many things and figure out what resonates with you. Don't follow your passion, please. Follow where there's higher value for you to have better outcomes, because the way we are designed to follow our passion, we typically will choose things that
mm,
are comfortable, things that look
mm,
trendy, things that don't deliver the best value for us, except you've been exposed to these other things that
mm,
I'm talking about. But most people averagely, will choose the things that are this thing. Don't do that, right? So that's one design. The other design is that you've already done sales because of your company. You worked in very early stage companies. There's not a lot of structure. That is really fantastic. All those skills can help you into whatever you decide to do. It's up to you. And then again, at the end of the day, I think that the constant is that value doesn't lie.
mm.
If you're constantly delivering value across those things with all those things that you've learned, you continue to notice that, you're giving more responsibilities. You continue to notice that you're taking in more, you're always learning in more. And like they say, the reward for
You
a good or a
mhm,
great job is
yeah.
is more job and more work. So also be open to that as you're expecting to maybe either niche down or find the best thing for yourself. Yeah.
Thank you for saying that. Very clear. Don't follow your passion. It's a lie. I go say they don't have passion for cement. Nobody has passion for. It doesn't smell good. Don't follow your passion.
Passion for delivering value.
Yes, I just want everybody to know that. I just put it in your head that there's something that is something I work with. Uh, I think is when I was discussing with you. I always tell myself that it was one of my. I want to remember the name of the person that told me that Wala Adeyemo. Wala Adeyemo is like one of my mentors. I talk to him always. He has a startup in Nigeria. So in the early days of my career, he came to a webinar and he said, "We should always look at ourselves like gold. And if we go out of this webinar now and they're walking on the streets and we see gold on the floor, that we will not want to pick the gold." And everyone was like, yes, we'll pick the gold now. He just said, okay, that there's no company that he knows of that is not ironing. That everybody, that as they are laying off, they're also ironing. He said, why? He say, if you can prove to somebody that you make money for them, you add value for them, they will always hire you. And then when I was speaking to Shema the other day, he said, as a marketer, if you can go to somebody and say, look, this is how I will make 100 million, they will bring you on board. So that has been in my head. That's, look, if you can just prove that you are valuable, don't worry, don't worry.
we're all we're all salesmen. I remember Shema Adeola saying that, we're in marketing, but we're here to do sales. And really, that's what it is. Value, value, value across whatever that is. It's just what it's about. Yeah.
Stop doing just your job. Oh, this my JD. This my. I was saying something that I don't use JD. Oh. If I go into your team like this, I always look for what can I do? 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 Just give me tags and let me do. So that at least I know I'm doing something. It's not JD. It's not my JD. My JD is to send emails. So I'm not concerned about sales. No, now you should be concerned about what is the sales that my email is bringing. A graphic designer should be concerned that the graphics I did for you to run ads, did it convert? Be concerned. Be concerned. People, people just want to do bare minimum.
So the the graphic design example, I had a conversation with a friend recently, and then I think I posted it online. I was saying that, Airbnb rebranded, and they also launched certain new features and sort of products and services on their platform. And all I was hearing was, "Oh, look at the design, look at the app design, look at how fantastic it is," and all of that. But there's no conversation around what is the value these things are going to
Mm,
deliver. Is this is this an opportunity to increase, annual
mm,
recurring income or monthly recurring income? And then I told him that this is why designers don't become graphic or product designers don't become heads of
creative,
marketing, because you guys are always focused on
aesthetic.
creative, 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 creative. Creative is nice, creative is nice, aesthetic is nice, but at the end of the day, how does it drive bottom line? And the truth is that design can drive bottom line. It does, but it's being able to communicate that, and
Mm.
also, with every design, focusing on what it's supposed to get people to do, is what I think sets designers apart. And with every designer I have worked with, that are those that think about to say, hey, what is
I
the end
mean,
goal here? What is the
sorry to
bottom
cut
line here?
you.
You will see that the way they do their work is really different.
Yeah, sorry to cut you. There was a day you actually tweeted. You were so happy about a guy that somebody was interviewing, and he was a designer at the startup, and he was saying, I'm a designer at this particular startup. This is what the startup does," and then he was selling the startup, and he was quoting it that, "Oh, designers I can sell. Those are the people I want." I know that. I know you love that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let's go to your Q1 article. You spoke about three things. Um, Mastering self-management is key, embracing the power of adaptability, and managing expectation for success. These are the three things you said you learned in Q1 that actually is important. Yeah, I read the article, and one of the ones that resonates with me is um, adaptability, the power of adaptability, and how to manage expectation. Adaptability, because I see myself as somebody that is successful in things I do because I could adapt. Oh, this is the scenario, right? This is what we have, right? Oh yeah, let's go. Oh, if this is what you want to also do, right? Okay, all right, let's go. I kind of think I'm very disorganized before, but reading the article make me understand that it's not like I'm because I don't need you to give me structure per se. Like, post three content a day. If I post two content a day on social media, and you come and it's like, "Oh, we need to start posting seven content," and you can show me that, okay, this is what the data is saying. If you post more content, these are the content you should be posting. I just say, okay, let's shoot. It will work, right? So I do want to actually say more about these three things you wrote in your article for Q1.
So adaptability.
And it,
The second one is
managing self-management, and the third is expectation, managing expectation for success.
okay. So adaptability goes back to being okay with starting over. It's that life is constantly changing. The environment that we are, policies
Mm.
are affecting us. The needs are constantly changing. So you constantly need to be adaptable. You constantly need to have an open mind, and it makes you easy it makes it easy for you as an individual to be able to take on change, take on the things that are changing, and then navigate life a lot more easier without it being, these days you hear a lot of people um, being depressed by the things that is around them and all of that. So I think that adaptability is a nerve that is important for us to navigate life better, and be able to come out on the other side. But from a career perspective, I think that adaptability helps you to read the room, to know where are we, where is the company going, and that informs also how you are growing, how you're investing in yourself. I think that also self-management is important, right? It's also an important skill, because we should all be adults. You can't always have people prompting you. It becomes not just annoying for you that is being prompted, but also for the person that is prompting you. ownership is a fantastic thing. It's so beautiful. So take ownership of yourself. Take ownership of the things that have been handed over to you. The I'm a Christian, and I would love to say that the Bible tells you that, when God gives something in your hand, or what God has, what your hands have found doing, do it diligently. It's self management, it's self ownership, and all of that. And I think that is really really key for you to be able to achieve anything that you want to achieve in life, any goals that you set for yourself. How you navigate through the goals of the year and the things that are impacting those goals, the changes that are impacting those goals. And for
Expectation of success.
the last one, for the last one is managing expectations for success. So we can set goals, right, and things happen and those goals are not reachable, or we can set goals and things happen and those goals are reachable, and then there's a new expectation for a new
Mm.
goal, and you enter a new quarter and then things are really different, either by policy. So you constantly, again, based on understanding, being adaptable, self-management, to be able to manage expectation in the workplace with the things that are and the people that are around you as well, to say, hey, constantly communicating, constantly telling them how it is, and all of that. It is so important. I really believe so.
Thank you. When we were speaking about self-management, that people should own stuff, they should take ownership. I remember a video of Alex Omozi that he said, once you start having stupid rules, you have hired the wrong people. For example, saying, okay, during meetings you cannot watch Netflix. On a stand-up, be in the background and it's not noisy. So when you start having those rules, he said it's a sign that you've hired the wrong person and you should just fire the person immediately. And I agree with that. We go back
Yeah,
to what I was
absolutely.
saying that
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree. Yeah.
you should take ownership. You should just take ownership. It should be. If people know, people are paying you. The person paying you is not paying you because he wants to do charity. He wants to get value back. So, be
Yeah.
serious, man. Be serious. Be serious here. We're not joking here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Honestly speaking, we're not joking here. Make money. Try and take ownership. Try and make money for the brand. Try and see where you can add more value. Try and see everything they can do to make sure that you're giving value back to the person giving you value. Yeah, it has to be power must change hands. How do they say it? Value must change hands.
Yeah,
But do you
absolutely.
believe that working hard is an antidote to depression? Um, Many people I think their days have been down, but I've spoken to my friend, but I don't think that's depression. I don't think I've ever been depressed in my life. I've read about depression for you, and I don't think that is me. I've never had that kind of state before. But I've seen people say you can work hard. You can work hard your way out of depression. Is that real?
You can work
Yes.
hard out of
Yes.
depression. Yes, I think that, as someone
Sorry,
who has experienced
before you
depression,
go on.
I think that it
Sorry,
requires.
before you go on. I'm talking about this because of the day you post a video and you're talking about how constantly thinking about yourself is you're going to be depressed more and more. And that's why I'm asking that question.
So, as someone who has, so a bit of
Mm,
context, I think 2013, 2014 was a really terrible year. And I think that was sort of the platform into making certain life
mm,
changes that I've made. It was a very
mm,
bad year financially for me. I lost in so many ways. There were other things that impacted me. So I
mm.
spiraled, right? So I think that, yes, to work your way out of depression, there's a certain level of hard work that is required. Now, I'm a Christian. So again, I believe that, there's the power of God in helping us navigate tough situations and tough experiences in life when they do come, because I think that they will come. But the difference with believing in God is that, God promises that you would not navigate that experience alone. He's going to take you through that experience. You walk hand in hand with him in that experience. So I think that's the difference. But whether that's you or yours is going the clinical route of treating it, there's a certain level of hard work that is required for you to be able to navigate your way out of depression. But generally, with anything that is a problem, with anything that requires a solution, thinking about the problem is never going to solve the problem, especially when you come from a place where nobody is coming to save
Mm.
you. Thinking about it is not, it doesn't mean that you should be delusional that the problem doesn't exist. No, you need to take actions even when you believe there's God and all of that. You still need
Mm.
to take action. That action sometimes might be for you to read, it might be for
Yeah.
you to study, it might be for you to go on YouTube and listen to maybe ministrations. It must be for you to really spend time with yourself, because I think that sometimes people want to just talk, but sometimes you need to
Mm.
pause when you're in a very
Yeah.
dark state and a very bad state, and really have a conversation with yourself to say, hey, did I contribute to this? What did I do? What could I have done wrong? Not in a way that you also blame yourself, but in a way to say, hey, how can I navigate this? Right. So yes, I think that a lot of hard work is required, but also it's been proven that what you eat, the kind of activities that you're involved in, are some of the things can also help you navigate, be navigating any depressed state
Mm.
that you're in. So things like physical activity, going for a walk, going for a run. It might not solve the depression instantly. It can help you improve
Mm.
your mood. So think about it. Going to the gym to spend 1 hour is not easy. If it's something that maybe you're going through a cycle, you're in a phase, committing to go to the gym maybe 3-4 times in a week, waking up around 5 or 6 or 7 or whatever that means to you, so that you can get ready also maybe to
Mhm.
go to work or go to your business or do other things that are available. It's not easy. Committing maybe to walk 10,000 steps every day to ensure that you have that physical activity, you're constantly keeping yourself engaged, is not easy. But the last thing to say is that yes, sitting with your problems and just thinking in a way that is just thinking and magnifying the problem is not good for you. It's not going to solve the problem. And I've seen this because I've had experience where I had access to someone that was in a very depressed state, and as someone that has been through
Mm.
depression, I was trying to sort of provide resources, talk to the person to say, hey, but all the person kept doing was wanting to be in that state. And I figured that this person is going to drag me down. I just carried myself and say, I'll be praying for you from afar. I'll be hoping that, you solve, God helps you navigate through it. I've also seen a case where we recommended therapy to a friend. The person went to therapy and came back and was cursing all of us and all of that. So yes, a certain level of willingness to do
Mhm.
the hard work is important for you to be able to navigate depression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for pointing that out. I always tell my mentees, tell them that look, you need to work hard. Like I also think many people belittle the amount of work that is needed to break out of poverty, break out of all of these things, break your family of poverty. People underestimate the amount of work that is going to take. Um, People think
Yeah.
I tell one of my mentees that look, okay, you make how much a month? Said, oh, I make about 200,000 naira. And I said, okay, you need to work harder. And he was telling me, I said, no, it's not about that money. It's about that's what people value you at. There was a time people value me at 200,
Yeah.
300, and 500, and all of those kind of things. You need to work harder. You need to increase the value, your value. You need to increase how you present yourself. I was like, okay. And I'm telling you, that it's not going to be about design alone. Maybe you need to now create a design agency. For example, I was letting him know that, okay, come, the the amount of work you need to do, the amount of money you need to make is big. For example, you need to make about a minimum of 1 million naira based on your background for you to break it. It's like, if I make 1 million, my life don't change. I was like, no, your life never changed, bro. If you start making 1 million, You start making 1 million and you have to make it for the next 24 months for you to be able to have a standard middle class life. It wasn't.
new, 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 new devil for every new
Mhm.
level.
It
So
was
yeah.
like it was shocked. Okay, you don't know yet. Now you know. And now you know. You're living on negative. You are
Absolutely.
living on negative. For example, I tell my friend, I always tell my friend that we are living on debit. So you don't have the house. For example, you don't have the house. Okay, you started tech with a very bad laptop. You know that, for example, you need to buy a laptop that's very good. Yeah, that one is there. As you're making this money, you have to settle all of this angle, and it takes more work. It takes a lot of work. And I hope guys get to understand this. Which takes me to this area of no go do black task, keep your family standard. Because that's another part that eats into people's money. You start making money, for example, people think, oh, when you make 1 million, oh, I'm the savior of my family. I need to save everybody. I'm the Jesus. Everybody, what do you want to do with your life? What do you want to do with your life? Which is not so. Which is not so. I've come to understand that it is not so. You can't save everybody. You can't save who does not want to be saved, for example. And you should be able to know how to guide yourself, how to protect yourself. And you should know that, okay, you need to scale first. And for you to scale, it takes huge amount of money. You need to be able to save. For example, you're working and you don't, if your laptop gets spoiled today, there's nowhere you can go to take money and buy a new laptop. It is bad. It is that bad for many people because as they're making the money, black tax here, black tax there, and so on. I don't know if you want to speak on that. Speak, say, let me go do black tax. Keep your family stranded.
So I think that people should learn to balance responsibility versus self-preservation.
Mhm.
I think that um, you can't make money and give it away and expect that you would be able to sort of build the support around you to be able to support yourself, to be able to support your family. So there should be limits. There should be limits to everything. Create boundaries. Prioritize your stability over everything. There's a story I know where a father spent all his life earnings training other people within the family unit and all of that, and then runs into a health challenge and that eats away all his money. Kids are still very young and he dies in the process. And then kids are looking up to these other people that have been invested in to invest back in them. And that is not the case. So it sort of then creates a sort of maybe they have the
Mhm.
right to be
Yeah,
entitled to those people because yes,
my bad.
those people were helped but they've chosen not to help back. So I think that as young people, as we grow and begin to we're building, we should always remember to save for the rainy day for ourselves. Yeah, go out of your way to help people, go out of your way to contribute to great causes that actually impact
Mhm.
people and transform lives. But you cannot, like I said, you cannot rise above certain things if you continually overextend
Overstretch
yourself
yourself.
financially, because you're paying black tax. everybody would have a everybody would have a strategy that works for their situation, that works for how it looks
Mhm.
like with their family. But at the end of the day, it's up to them to do what really works for them. But if you're really not there, don't deceive yourself, because you're just trying to be a savior out of your own savior
Simple.
complex, and at the end of the day, you'll be left hanging.
Yeah, definitely. You'll be left hanging. And I want people, you should speak out. I saw an anonymous posted by Solomon Mushi, and it was like, the lady was lamenting. It was like, oh, my dad wants me to pay $1,500. He wants me to, my dad is at home. I have to go to shift. I was like, just tell them you can't be going to shift, and it's not working. I used to have that. The point is, we do it not because I kind of tell myself the truth. Why are you doing this? Why are you killing yourself? You are not doing it because you actually want to help these people. Sometimes you are doing it because it makes you feel good. It makes you have this feel good mental that, oh, I am the savior of everybody. Look at me, everybody is. That's why some people are doing. I was telling my friend, why are you doing this? You do not have money for a laptop, and you want to organize a birthday party for your mom that you're going to spend about 1 million, and you want to borrow money from me to buy a laptop. It's not going to. You should think about these things.
How about how about and sometimes I get the
Yeah.
intent, right? It's important to celebrate your loved one at that level, but how about also celebrating your mom? If maybe let's say 1 million is just what you have, how about cascading down and doing something that helps her in a way, rather than doing something at a large scale that brings so many people at the end of the day that doesn't provide value to her. So I think that I wouldn't tell anybody not to invest in their family or invest in their mom in that way. Especially when they've
Mm,
contributed to you so much, but you must do it in
mm,
relevance. Black tax that, you're extending yourself, like the girl that you said, you're not making £1,500
mm,
or dollars or whatever it is to be able to afford something, and then you're extending yourself to be able to do that. You burn out, you possibly then can't
mm,
perform on
mm,
the job, and then probably you lose your sponsorship on
mm.
that job, and it becomes a whole different conversation. I think that would be the thing
Yeah.
I would say in that sort of situation.
Thank you very much for that. I really hope people listen. It's been a whole lot of conversation around me, and I hope people get it. It's an African thing. We have to give back
Yeah.
to this. I saw a video on Facebook one day, and I was in the comment section, and all I was reading in that comment section was people regretting that. Oh, I used to be there. I used to be like this. I used to be the savior of my family. I regret that now. I was like, well, some people might be saying it as an excuse. You might have spent your money in a rubbish way. But it's about 500. It's not just Nigerians there. Ugandans, Kenyans, everybody were like, I I did this, I spent my money. The guy was like, I've been the one carrying my family since I was 18. And now my junior brother is about 25 and he's still asking me for money. I said, that's it. You've contributed to it. You've contributed. Nobody asked you to do that. By age 32, you need to start withdrawing and say, oh boy, you need to start coming up for yourself. Balance is important, like I've said. Everybody should find balance. You should find balance, like Akuma always tell me. You that is getting the black tax, make it easy for the person giving you too. Try and see how you can stand on your own. The person is not giving you because they want to keep giving.
Yeah, absolutely.
They are giving because they want you to be able to
Yeah.
stand and stop milking them in the nearest future.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Let's talk about our dear country, Nigeria. I know you don't like talking about Nigeria. I know, but one of the things that is been
No.
around this, I
No.
I work in e-commerce, right? And again, every day, everybody tweets this thing. Fixing nine posts will be a very huge advantage to everybody because the world is going e-com. Everything is now happening. Like commerce is now largely e-com now. You want to buy food, you want to buy clothes, people are trying, but majority of the time we don't. It's not working because our houses are not even well numbered. The addresses are not there yet. A lot of things are not working. And we always see people trying to say, oh, we will revolutionize everything with AI this, AI that. And people are hoping that why African population doubles in the next decade, we hope that Africa will be able to purchase stuff and all of this. And you are like, no, hope is not a strategy. Hope is not a strategy. And they should keep deceiving people. They should stop deceiving people. Stop deceiving people. What do you want to say about that?
you want to set me up. But yeah, I think that the I think that Nigeria in particular and Africa in general, we've based where we need to grow and be as a people on hope for too long, rather than on our collective brilliance, at solving the problems that the continent faces or even Nigeria faces. And then you have people who come up with these whole strategies where they're doing things that, yes, at the face level of it, you want to build AI products. Yes, that's fantastic. It's good keeping in touch with the world and where technology is going. But do we need AI to solve postcodes or
Good.
PMB addresses as we used to have them? I remember vividly when I used to be young, my grandmother, God rest her soul, she's late. I think her PMB used to be PMB 11 something. I
Mm,
really can't remember. I need to check. You know, people send letters and then because it's PMB, you have to go to the post office where the letter has been dropped and
mm,
then you pick it and then you come home and all of that. Today we don't even have that. 12 hours away from Nigeria, Ghana has solved their digital addresses, right? And there are so many examples. That's one. Now, Africa, by I think it's by 2050 or so, whatever the projection is, would have the youngest population
mm,
ever. Now, population looks like a great metric because you would say, oh, that's the market we need to go and sell to. But if that population is not equipped with the education, and I mean the best in class education to be able to deliver value so that they can take value. Remember, deliver value, you take
yeah,
value, so that they can then use those value taken as finances that
mm,
they can use to afford your services, pay for flights and travel all over the continent, see Africa, see the world. If that is not happening, if that is not being accelerated right now, we're lying to each other. Logistics is a huge problem, and people have tried
yeah.
to, even do B2B logistics and build different. They're still faced with so many problems, and all of these problems are problems that, you know, government and government policies can solve
Well,
just as a matter of a strategic policy. If you are, for example, if you're facing a manufacturing issue as a country, some of the things that countries do is that, if you're any company importing or starting a manufacturing business has a tax break, maybe 3 years, maybe 5 years, as they wish, all your equipment that you're importing, there's no taxes on the equipment. When the equipment arrives at the port, they are fast tracked. Like
mm-hmm,
everything that is a manufacturing equipment, once it arrives at the port, it is fast tracked. The country is partnering with everywhere they can find the manufacturing skills that they need to accelerate manufacturing in their listen. They are ensuring that the academic curriculum delivers value where the continent or the country wants to go in the next 50 years. I mean, some people will say, oh, yeah, colonialism underdeveloped Africa, this and this, Africa is rising, Africa is not rising. But yes, colonialism was a problem on the continent. But there are other places that had the same challenges that have solved their problem to a certain level, just in 2 decades. I always use Singapore as an example. There was a time Nigeria was projected to be that Nigeria's economy would be bigger than Singapore. But let's look at where Singapore is in the world today. You know, just about 2 to 3 decades. Let's look at where Dubai was. Just take a look at Dubai
mm-hmm,
in 1990. Go and check out those pictures and compare those pictures today. And it's not just about building mansions and all of that, because when you say these things, people think about it's the economic activities that is then happening for
mm-hmm,
individuals in from those countries. They can take value, they can deliver value. You know, there's a reason why the UAE is now like a tax haven. A lot of professionals around the world want to go there and work tax free and be able. They know why they're doing that. They're doing that because they want to attract the best talent to deliver value to their country.
Yeah.
And in that process, also, they're passing knowledge to their people because obviously, if you're head of marketing, for example, working with people from that region, you're directing them, you're guiding them, you're giving them knowledge. So I think that we need to stop being delusional. Politicians are using these narratives to deceive us, them or the people that are in their corners or the people that they have hired, either as whatever commissioners
To
or ministers. They are not doing anything across anywhere. The one that is the poster child now is the guys that are from, I can't remember the name of the country, is it Togo or whatever that their name. You see different projects that are happening, and then there are different people on ground that are saying these things that are being posted on social media
I know there.
is this thing. We're always yeah, there's so much savior complex that is the focus rather than actually delivering value to the collective. 2019, you could travel to Ghana and withdraw money with your Nigerian ATM in Ghana at a better value than going to change your money in Nigeria to dollars. Then when you travel to Ghana, you change it then to cedis,
Mm.
which doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Ghana is just how many hours away from Nigeria by road? By flight it's 45 minutes to about an hour. Why do I have to change money to dollars first on the same African continent? And then there's been trade whatever that was signed on the continent for how many years, but it's still easier for people to export out of the continent to several neighboring countries than for them to have Pan-African trade happening very easily. So we have a lot of work that needs to be done to scale the amazing
Yeah.
continent. There's so many people that are benefiting from, selling our oil barrels to whoever it is that own it, selling our diamond mines and
Mhm.
all of that, and then pocketing the money. And then they will come and be telling you that, oh, it's colonialism, it's conglomerates. Who sold the franchise to them? What
Yeah.
politician signed that
Mhm.
deal? That didn't sign a deal that is in the best interest
Public
of that
Africa.
community,
Mhm.
of that country. Those are the real conversations that we need to start having and stop deceiving ourselves. And sometimes if they put a gun to your head, to be able to sign certain things, either you have integrity to say no, or you don't. And if you don't, you shouldn't even be in public office.
Mhm.
You don't care a lot about changing the African lot and all of that. And that's what I would say that that the our over reliance on passive optimism is not going to deliver real change across Africa. We need things that are practical, things that is not wishful thinking, strategy that is proven. You can't arrive at having the best young population that is really well educated if you don't plan a curriculum that delivers
Yeah.
education that is relevant in the next 10 and 50 years. If you don't plan it, it's not going to
We're
happen.
not going to
It's not
happen.
going to happen. It's just wishful thinking, and it's really sad. Yes,
It's really sad. It's really sad because things that we lack in Africa are things that have been solved, problems that have been solved in 18th century, 16th century. Still talking about roads, still talking about
absolutely.
electricity.
In so many areas, yes,
All we need to do
yeah,
is go there,
absolutely. In so many
just go
areas.
there and copy and come paste there. And it's not like we can't afford it.
We don't even need to go there. It's online. It's on YouTube. We don't need to travel. You don't need to travel. Just pay for MTN data and watch how people have built roads that when it rains, it drains out the water from the top of the
Yeah.
asphalt and drains it with a drainage
Mm-hmm.
below. There's such
Yeah.
examples in Germany. How football stadiums are maintained all over the
Good.
world is online. Why is the Surulere
See what
stadium being
alone.
posted online with looking so dilapidated, and the Abuja one that was built very recently is so terrible? Why do we have to? We've copied transport system from London, and we're still struggling and spending millions and millions every government to be able to make it work. we're just, it's terrible. I don't want to
Honest.
go down that route. That's just what I would
That's
say
it.
on that, please.
Thank you, thank you. It's just something I wish we could touch on this particular episode because it's saddening. No matter how you want to do it, you still have an
Yeah,
argument today. You can't scale if you don't have basic infrastructures that the government are fixing. The old eBay that we have, the
absolutely.
Amazon, they are resting on the back of USPS, the delivery that the government has built. They
Yeah,
are resting on the back. Jumia will scale today if there is a very good, if our NIPOs work today, Jumia revenue could double. It's just fact. You can't build those things. Amazon did not go and
it's it's
build
co- it's, it's
delivery
colossal.
centers first before. They were there already. Uber did not have to go build roads
Yeah,
before all of this technology that we praise in the US
yeah.
and co. I saw them and was like, oh, these things are resting on the infrastructure that have been built already.
Innovation will always rest on existing
Yeah,
infrastructure, to be
yeah,
honest. That's how the next innovation evolves. That's how it gets better. It must always rest on existing
for sure.
infrastructure, and that's just the
Yeah,
only way.
correct,
Yeah,
correct. Yeah, look at the data that we're talking about. For example, we still have to do BVN, NIN, and all of these things. Think about something as simple as having one single data integration that can serve everybody. You want to do fintech, and it's just disheartening. We have
yeah.
tech gurus that are in charge of all of these things, and they're,
Yeah.
they're lying to us. Oh, well, that's it on that. Let's go to this marriage thing that you talked about. That if you don't have somebody that could shield you against their family, don't marry them. Which takes me to the best advice you gave to me. I always remember it. Like, bro, you're married, congratulations, but never ever allow anybody disrespect your wife. I understand it, and I keep understanding it as I'm growing in marriage. Well, we're getting to 2 years in December, and within 1 year plus, I've understood that statement so clear that, oh, like I understood it from every angle because it looks like a normal statement. Never ever allow anybody disrespect your wife, but it goes deeper. When you start saying it, you start understanding why you should never allow it. Because once you allow it, it does not stop at your wife's text. It's coming right to you. And it's not coming right to you, it's coming to this to, to scatter your home. You will be shocked. I have someone that is shocked that when he sat back, it was like, I sat back, Ola, and I said, I and my wife we fought 5 times. And none of it was because both of us disagree on something. It was because somebody else said somebody else said you did something. Somebody else, a family member said you did something. And I was like, oh no, you're not doing this. So I think one of the budget on that, like you need somebody to shield you. You need somebody that could shield you against their family. If you don't have that kind of person, never marry them.
Okay. Yeah. Fantastic. So the context is that if you consider that the
Yeah,
African culture, right, family is an
yeah,
important part of that, right? So everybody is protecting something when they are trying to maybe look out for their brother or look out for their sister. There's and this experience comes from
mm,
experiencing people's marriages, being advised over the years, even way before I got married. Story one: senior brother, family, they were young, moved abroad, and senior brother wants to get married. The lady has a child, and then brings her home, and then family says no, it doesn't, she already has a child, blah 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 blah, blah. And he
mm,
was begging, this person is the
mm,
person that is for me, blah 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 blah, blah blah blah. This conversation was lasting over 6 months, dragging and everything to make them see why it was so they weren't. Within that period, the younger brother brings someone to say, hey, I'm getting married. I think I found someone that works for me. And yeah, they live in America.
Yeah.
I won't mention them, but that's where they are. And then the family says, "Oh no, she's not from our culture and everything." And the guy said, "I understand, but you see, this person is the
Mm.
person I'm going to marry. We'll fix the date. If you want to, this is the venue. If you don't want to, that is fine." This I'm telling you happened, I think, over 8 years, 8 to 10 years ago. Between that 8 to 9 years ago, and because it was, I think it was shortly after I was about to begin my 9 to 5
Mm.
marketing career. So it's a bit
Yeah.
around that 10 years. 10 years. The guy got married, and that
Mm.
was it. Now, if you look at it, the only reason the younger brother was able to do that was because he shielded. He
Yeah.
has made a decision. Obviously, yes, the reason families are scared of all these things, hey, don't go and
Mm.
marry the right person. But whether he gets it wrong
But,
or gets it right, one thing you can observe from that situation is that he shielded his choices and the person he wanted to. Again, marriage is your decision. Yes, you can consider that, how does this decision impact my extended
mm.
family, our values, our integrity? Yes, that is a valid premise to consider when you're making your life choices. It's up to you how that works for you. But he made a choice and shielded and moved on, while the brother continued to live, in quotes, a miserable life. Second story, I know a couple that dated and then wanted to get married, and the woman, no, the lady, that's the girlfriend, wasn't liked by
Mm.
the family of the guy. And then after much conversation, they went their way, and it worked. And this guy had that experience with two other people. So he brings people, and the family does the same thing. And then it got to about the fourth person. He
Yeah.
said, "Not
Mhm.
anymore. If you're not going to show up." That's They came to the wedding that day. They tried to ferment trouble. They were carrying face and all of that. Marriage succeeded.
Mhm.
They are still married, right? So now, there was an issue some time ago where someone tweeted about, oh, I think the brother was dating someone and was planning to propose
Yeah.
or something, and he was saying, oh, this one that the brother started
Mm.
dating and then no longer has time for her, and all of that and all of that. This girl is now
Yeah.
taking, obviously, she's trying to, in quotes, protect the brother, and the brother, people were obviously against
Mm.
that, and obviously the brother focused on his girlfriend,
Mm.
right? So there's always going to be impact of externals
Yes.
on your marriage. I've seen people travel with their partners to their partner's home, either on both sides, and then you want to use the partner as a slave on first meeting the
Yeah.
person, because you want to prove that, you know, does this person know how to
Indeed.
cook and all of those things. You can ask a
Mhm.
question. You can, your son or your daughter, is this man a good
Mm.
man? Does he? You can ask those questions rather than humiliating
Yeah.
someone. So you must always be able to have people that shield you. And one thing I have seen is that having that also increases the level of happiness for the family, where you see that both of you as a couple, you're doing things for your family from a place of joy. It's not from a place of being pushed and expectation. So I think that it's really integral for any relationship, that consider itself serious, to understand that you need to protect your partner. Your partner needs to protect you from, and not just their family, from any external disrespect. So I come from the eastern part of
Ah.
Nigeria, I'm Igbo, and one thing I have seen is that, I have seen a woman slap someone's elder brother, younger brother to the man. The elder man was wrong, but he didn't touch you. It was just an argument. Raised her hand, slapped the man. The man walked out.
Mm.
The reason he didn't do anything is that he said, I cannot touch a woman, let alone a woman that is married into her family. He has a husband, right? Now, that is out of respect for the boundaries that are created. Obviously, she later realized what she did was bad and apologized and all of those things. So it sort of also creates that type of mutual respect between people, between families, because when you leave your family and you both leave your family, both of you are building a new family. These other people that you come from, they are now
And
the extended family. They are
the
now that they are
struggle,
now like they are now the
yeah,
third party. They are now the third party to this family nucleus that you're trying to
yeah,
create here. So it's always important that decisions and things and choices that impact both of you needs to be done from a place of putting both of you
yeah.
first and forward. And then obviously, yes, people can ask for advice, but it's not people
On you.
pressing on you, forcing you, because they want you to live their life in a certain way and not, live the one that is suitable for both parties. Yeah.
The extended family struggle to accept that they are now extended. I think that's the. I've seen a lot of issues where, and it's cowardice to start blaming the wife. I've seen it in many. These are things you've seen everywhere. The man started being assertive, or he started saying, "No, you can't say this to my wife. Oh, no, you can't do this to. No, no, I'm not. I don't have money." Then they start saying, "Oh, it is not him. It is the wife." And I think it's cowardice to attack the wife, to blame it on the wife, because you think, oh, your son can, is it because your son is a zombie and he can't think for himself and make um these decisions? And I think people always struggle, oh, my brother is getting married and they cannot say, oh,
Mm-hmm.
this is me, this is that. So it's nice that you have somebody that can protect you against the family, somebody that can stand for you, and
Yeah.
that's something I always tell people. Your new family is now your family. The family you had before is now extended,
Yep.
and you as a man, it is your duty to take care of
Yep.
that new family above that one. That one is not that important. That is the family of your dad. This new one is now your.
Yeah.
People struggle to
Yes, absolutely.
people don't want to accept it. They don't want to.
It's a concept. Yeah, it's a concept a lot of people struggle with. To be honest, yeah, that's totally
They
true.
start
Yeah.
saying, "Oh, my mother, my mother needs something." No, no, your wife matters than your mother. It's crazy, but it's not. It's like, see, your mother has her own space. Everybody has their own place now. You give birth to your own kids, and then your
Yeah,
former siblings do not matter like your own kids now. It's people struggle to accept these things, and then
absolutely,
they mess the whole thing up. You
absolutely,
know.
absolutely,
Thank you
absolutely.
for those insights. I will ask. Uh, okay, let me ask this before we start wrapping up. It's almost 2 hours. You always say that there's a template for good marriage. You always say that there's a template. There's a template. And I've been wanting to ask you that. Where is it, Akuma? Where is the template? Where is the template for good marriage?
Mm. Um. So I'm a
Yeah.
Christian, right? I want to put that
Mm,
out there. So I think that even with not being a Christian, I think that I have this belief that, so if you look at life or if you look at scientists, there's a lot of things written around. There was a big bang and, life was better than all of those things. I
mm,
don't
mm,
believe in it. Even if I was not a Christian, I would
mm.
never believe in it. I feel that we are too intentionally created to have happened
It's a mistake.
um, by chance, right? By chance of
Mm,
a boom or whatever it is. No matter how you explain it, I just want to put this out there. It is not possible. Now, if you understand that we are intentional being, we are beings that
designed.
were
Mm,
designed,
mm.
crafted with a level of intentionality, you will understand that for us to function at the peak of different areas of our life, we need to be aligned with that intentionality. What I see that is happening in the world today is that people are trying to reinvent things that doesn't need reinvention. So you hear people say, work smart, don't work hard. Bro, smart work is insanely hard work. You cannot smart work what you don't know. There is no this thing. You have
Mhm.
AI, right? You cannot a a a the best copywriter with AI would always be the best copywriter
Mm.
with AI. You are not going to be a better copywriter than them with AI. It is not going to happen. The best copywriter with AI is still going to be the best
Mm.
copywriter with AI. In same fashion, we have a design as human beings, So I think that design we can find in God. We can, some people believe in the universe or whatever they do. That is your own. But I think that at the core of who we are, everything has been set. Everything that functions successfully works in a certain way. For someone to be able to go through life and not have their name stained, they must have integrity. Now, it doesn't matter if story was fabricated against them. They went to jail. You've seen people that went to jail. It's unfair to them. They spent 30
Mm.
years of their life. Fabricated story, untrue, maybe person that took them to jail had more money or whatever it is that cost it. And they spend that 30 years and they come out. They still have
Mm.
integrity. So at the core of them is that balance of that thing that they are, that thing that makes them who they are, that ensures that they
Yeah.
have that balance. So I think that, just like it is with marriage, just like it is with,
Looking wonderful too.
working hard and succeeding at anything, marriage has its own, it obviously will be a conversation between two people to understand what they are looking for, and then finding out that, communication is a great skill. Regardless of all the trauma that you faced, you need to let it go and start embracing loving this person in a wholesome way. You need to start embracing being able to let go of however you've been treated and start mastering, how do I treat this person better? Should this person treat me better? So that we can build a wholesome
Mm.
experience. You need to constantly start telling yourself that, a good marriage isn't defined by what is the standard that is being set on social media that is trendy, right? Is what at the core, what worked for your parents will not work for you. They lived in a different generation. So you constantly need to pay attention to how life is evolving. But at the core is being a decent human being to each other, understanding that we are all flawed, but being accountable at the same time, understanding that genuine love is
Mm.
genuine love, and it can never be replaced. It can never
Mm.
be replaced. So I think that whether it is via the Bible or if you look through history,
So
people that
then,
have succeeded, you will notice certain things around how they treated people that they got married to, that was the love of their life, and also how they got treated, that ensured that they were through that relationship. They went through it as an experience. There was always that constant learning, constant improving, constant giving grace to each other. And I think that those are some of the things why I believe that marriage has a template already, and that template, regardless of the noise of where people have faulted, deviated, and it didn't work, reinventing the template isn't going to solve it. It's going back to the basis. What is the basis of marriage? How do two people, agree on things and go at it, whether it is for the next 40, 30, 50 years of their life, and they have the best outcome. I think that those principles are very clear. If you're looking for it, you will find it in the context for you, and then go on to build the best life for it. But if you're a Christian, read your Bible, you will find
thank you
it.
for that. Thank you for that. One of the ones that resonate with me
Yeah.
is giving grace to each other. I'm saying that people are just too, is it full of themselves? But I don't understand how to describe it. I see it everywhere, and I get shocked. Like, put yourself in my shoe, like reverse it and just, why are you doing like this? I tell a lot of people. There was a woman in my street that was saying my wife should kneel down to greet her, and I was like, really? Somebody that has not been kneeling down since they gave birth to her. It's just not in our culture. Like for example, now I should have
Yeah.
an Igbo friend now, and he should come to greet me, and I should expecting him to lie down. No, it's not possible. We just pass a lot of judgment on
Yeah.
people. We try to set standards that we ourselves will
Yeah.
not even set for ourselves for people. Allow
Yeah.
al- al-
Absolutely.
people should
Absolutely.
allow space for mistakes, allow space for error. People are too uptight. People are too,
Yeah.
my husband puts his shoe here.
And and for very pickle thing. Yes, you shouldn't know. You shouldn't put your shoe if your wife doesn't like it. Do not put your shoe in certain places. But
Mm,
yeah, I think again,
yeah.
it's why I said earlier that it shouldn't be for very
Mm,
fickle things like someone comes into your family, they're from a different culture, they need to learn and embrace the culture, but you've lived that culture for 20 or 30 years and you expect them to do the same. Yes, you can say, oh, maybe she should have learned the culture,
mm,
but she hasn't. The grace is now on you to extend it to her so that she can now embrace and then
mm,
grow through it. Yeah, but like I said earlier on, constantly
mm.
learning, you're constantly learning, you're constantly evolving, is the best way to do it. But again, if your wife doesn't like to put shoe as a man, do not, including me myself.
The shoes, they will remind you that those shoes. Look
Oh
at the
my
shoes.
god!
You know,
Yeah, yeah,
it just shows how we are different
yeah,
people and how just
yeah,
giving grace to each other is how to navigate this whole thing. It's
yeah.
just like that. You know, you know.
Absolutely.
And it's been awesome 2 hours talking to you, Prince. So this is the longest episode
Yeah.
on POK Experience, and it's just so awesome. I think this is
Oh
rich.
wow.
This is
Amazing.
rich. Discuss AI, we discuss marriage, we discuss a lot of things. A lot of things. I think if anybody's listening
Yeah.
to this, they're going to pick up
Absolutely.
one or two. If they're not picking something from the marketing, you're going to pick up something from work experience. You're going to pick up something from how HR should behave, how you can evolve, how you should also set expectations, how you should adapt to things. You can pick something from how you say marriage. We've,
Yeah.
we've we've said a lot of things and I enjoy the podcast myself.
Yeah.
I would like,
Thank you so
yeah,
much for
I
having
won't be
me.
asking this or that today, so I'll change it. So I'll give you
Okay.
something, and you tell me the best. Like if I say phone, for example, you tell me the best phone brand you have out there, something like that. Okay, are you
Okay.
ready?
Yeah.
Marketing channel.
Wow. B2B or
Okay,
B2C?
give me for B2B, give me one for B2C.
Okay, marketing channel B2B, I would say events. B2C, I would say activation. Both of them are event driven. I think that there's something about human connection that is really important through those two channels.
Okay,
Yeah.
AI tools.
There's so many in my
Mm,
stack now, but I would say for live conversations, I use Gemini Live. So if I really want to talk to something and then have a
mm,
thinking session, Gemini Live is the best at it. For different tasks, Chat GPT is
mm,
really great to build sort of your custom
mm,
GPT and then it speaks to you in a certain way and in a voice. That's something that I am seeing. Obviously, I have a huge stack of different things, whether it is
mm,
automation, whether it is marketing
like that.
related. There's so much
Mm,
out there. Yeah.
food.
Hmm. Interesting. There's so many, but if you give me abacha and ugba with very good stockfish, you have me. Yeah.
Yeah, you went for the local of the locals, like just
Of course, of
mm.
course.
Language.
So yeah, I can speak English, obviously. I can speak my language, but I think there's something about the Zulu language that I really like. It's really an amazing language. Also Spanish as well. I can't speak either of them. Yeah, those two languages intrigue me. I know people like to say French is a language of romance, but I really think that there's something very amazing and fantastic about the
Mm,
way Zulu, all those Zulu,
okay.
Xhosas languages, and then
Mm,
Spanish
okay.
as well.
Thank you. Brand.
Hmm. Well, the brand I work for, Firon, is an amazing brand. Yeah, absolutely.
Country.
Um, So if it's for tourism, I really enjoy Germany and I look forward to going back. But there are other countries that are on my mind I would really like to go. So maybe when I experience them, I would know if they're hits. But for now, I would just say yeah,
Germany.
Germany.
Social media.
LinkedIn first. Twitter second.
LinkedIn.
Maybe
Instagram.
Instagram, but I'm a LinkedIn and Twitter
I know
first.
LinkedIn will be top
Yeah.
there.
Yes,
Mm.
absolutely.
Then lastly,
Absolutely.
Bible character.
I know you're enjoying this episode. So click on the subscribe button. Click on it. Also, please share this episode with somebody, just one person that will find this helpful. Cheers.
Um, I would say not necessarily a character, but I love. So a Bible verse that transformed
Mm,
my life is Joshua 1
mm,
9, and it's something I always go back to, and I always say it. It says, you know, I think it goes along the line of be strong and of good
mm,
courage. There's never been a time in my life, whether I am at the top,
mm,
feeling great, or down, that I read that verse of the Bible and it doesn't speak something new
mm,
to me. There's never been a time. So I think is a fantastic verse of the Bible. Obviously, try and reach the entire
mm,
verse, but
mm.
Joshua
Nice.
1 9, love that verse. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Prince Ray. And you know, imagine that I spoke to you.
Thank you so
I spoke to you for
much.
2 hours, and I didn't touch fitness. Like really?
Don't worry. We're done.
I was, I don't remember. Like, how do you talk with Prince for 2 hours? I know fitness, but we're gonna have Prince back some other time. He's my mentor. In case you don't know,
Yeah.
he's somebody I talk to. Somebody I talk to. Um, there's something I got to understand sometimes ago that you are like 5%. Everybody deposit 5% of themselves in you. So you are like 5% of people.
Hmm.
And since that day, yeah, I became
Around me.
very
So
careful in
yeah.
picking the people I talk to, people I share my stuff with, people that advise me. I became very careful with about picking them uh, because, of
Yeah.
course, either you like it or not, they influence you. Prince Will, what will you leave us
Yeah.
with? What's your
Absolutely.
message to the world?
Um, so there's obviously we've unpacked a lot throughout this. So if you've listened to it, I would say, taking action and constantly um, understanding where you are and where you're going to and where the environmental world around you is going to um, will transform your life. Don't be too hard on yourself. Take rest when you need to rest, but also don't be lazy when you're supposed to
Mm,
be working. Keep learning, keep growing. Life is meant to be lived and experienced. And yeah, remember, if you're going through a downtime or you're even going through an uptime, God will always walk you through anything that you're experiencing, and you can never go through it alone if you have Him by your side. And yeah, always ensure that you are a person of your word. Integrity is so important in the world that we
Oh,
live today, and let that be your guiding light.
thank you so much. Let integrity be your guiding light.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Really